ACCUSTATS Video Productions presents from Reno, Nevada, the Reno Open number 27. I'm Bill Incardona, along with one of the most popular and entertaining players in the world today, Keith McCready. Keith, the two players that are playing in the feature match, Tang Hoa, who you know very well from Van Nuys, California,
right, Billy,
and Alex Pagulayan from Toronto, Canada,
right,
which not too many people do know, but nonetheless effective.
He's a sleeper.
He's a sleeper, is right. Now, Tang Hoa has been playing on the circuit for the past several years, and I might add he's been doing quite well. And he's played all the great players in the world. Matter of fact, he plays Efren Reyes a lot of pool because Efren Reyes plays at hard times in California, and that's where Tang Hoa plays.
Absolutely, Billy.
So therefore, of the two players, there's no question about it. Tang Hoa is the more experienced player.
I would have to agree with you, Billy, but in this certain situation right here, you know, it's a race to 9, and this kid really shoots straight now, and I think he might give Tang Hoa a lot of trouble if the ball sort of break even.
Well, there's no question about it. Alex is one of the straightest shooters in the world, even though he's only 19 years old.
I know.
That doesn't mean you can't shoot straight at 19. I mean, who shot straighter than you when you were 19?
I wish I was 19 again, Billy. But there is pressure, and pressure does build up, and this is where the pressure counts. And tournaments are different than playing for, you know, say that money or whatever.
We're playing on gold crown tables with 4.5-inch pockets, and when you hit balls a little bit poorly or badly on the 4.5-inch pocket table, it doesn't accept the shot.
Exactly. And you know what? Here are a lot of people, they don't know that you have to hit them with certain ball speeds, certain little techniques of English, and if you start off a little slow in a match like this, race at 9, when you have two good players like this, the dice can follow you either way.
That's for sure. It's a relatively short race to 9. Unlike the usual race to 11 or sometimes even 13. Right. So therefore, puts a lot more pressure on the players.
Exactly. Exactly. Especially when you have to take the pressure shots early.
And so many games or matches are won by the player who jumps out with that early lead, particularly in a short race to 9.
Exactly. Exactly. And when you have two real good players, it's very important that you do jump out of the box.
And there's a little bit of that early match jitters right there. Tang Hoa missing a ball he normally makes.
You just saw it. That's what I was talking about. Just the early mechanics and everything. You see, like right now, it seems like to me they're sort of both rushing themselves a little bit.
7-ball position in front of the upper left-hand corner, 8 near the left-hand side pocket, 9 in front of the lower right-hand corner. Looks like to me that if he's able to pocket the 5 on the side, he should be able to take care of the rest of the balls here.
Exactly, Billy. All he has to do is just come outside of this rail a little bit and just float it, and looks like he's home.
So Alex steps to the table with more or less a gimme out.
Exactly.
Something that you really want to see when you step to the table, because you don't feel all the pressure when you have a gimme out, and it gets you like a little bit of rhythm. Especially when they both shot twice this game. So it looks like the first game of the match is going to go to Alex.
Exactly.
And it does. And he takes the early lead in the match at 1-0. Considering how close these two players are in terms of skill, I think it's going to be a very, very close match, and the player who jumps out with the early lead, I make him a pretty good favorite.
I agree. And the one thing about it, Billy, there's more pressure on the older guy than there is the younger guy, because the younger guy has no fear. The other guy's got all the pressure on him, especially in this kind of heat of the battle right now.
I agree with that totally. There's always more pressure on the player who the senses say supposed to win. If you're supposed to win, then you have to win, and if you don't, then you're looked upon as like a little doggish or whatever.
Right. Therefore, and that's why they both played that first game a little bit. See, now if this kid jumps out to a 2-3 game lead, the pressure's really on Tang Hoa. Okay, Tang Hoa got a break, Billy.
I noticed the amount of velocity that Alex broke the balls with. I mean, he really opened up. He got a lot of action with his break, I mean, and Tang Hoa, by the way, is a very good breaker also.
There's there's like 6 balls past his side pocket, so you know he had to hit him pretty hard.
He certainly did. Okay, now Tang Ho's has to respond to the challenge here.
Exactly.
Trailing in the match 1-0. The balls are spread over the table nicely for him.
Exactly.
2 ball in the upper right-hand corner, the 3 ball adjacent to the 2 ball, 4 ball near the center of the table near the 7.
The whole shot is, I believe, Billy is right here.
Okay, now the 5 to the 6 should answer the question in this particular act. Will he or will he not get out?
I agree.
So therefore, the position that he plays on the 5 should determine if he'll get out or not. If he gets a nice angle on the 5 to come across table, looks like he's got a little awkward on it. He wanted a little more of an angle than that. Now he's going to have to force it.
He got perfect, Billy, believe me. It looks like to me he's just, all he's got to do is just pinch this ball and just go on right to the side rail. Just like he did.
Well, he'll certainly take that. Now, if he's able to put the 6 down, the second game of the match should go to Tang Ho.
Well, it looks pretty good from here, Bill. See how important those scratches are in the break and those little mistakes come up in the games like that? Like, you know, you jump 1 game ahead, 2 games ahead, and then you scratch. You know, with players like this, I mean, it could cost you 3, 4, 5 games.
Absolutely. Game number 2 goes to Tang Ho. He does tie the score 1 game apiece. And there's not a bigger momentum stopper than when you scratch on the break. Not a bigger momentum stopper.
It just takes all the blood out of you. I mean, it just makes your blood go from blood to ink.
You know, and so actually what does happen when you do scratch on the break, you allow your opponent at the table, number 1. Not only do you allow your opponent at the table, but you also award him ball in hand, which is such a big benefit.
And momentum.
Yeah, now he gets to put ball in hand, and he gets to start running balls to get into the rhythm he likes to play in, and now he's starting to relax.
Exactly, right.
Particularly in the early going.
Exactly, especially when the kid was ahead 1-0, and he made that mistake. See, if he would have went ahead 2-0, now all the pressure's on Tang Ho. Now the pressure might not be so much on Tang Ho.
Now let's take a look at Tang Ho's break. We watched Ali's break him. He breaks him very hard. Tang Ho also has a very good break. Slightly mishit one ball, hit it on the side, but nevertheless still pocketed a ball in the break. Let's take a look right now about how the balls are positioned on the table. The 2 balls near the foot spot. The 3 ball is up table near the 4. 3 ball can be pocketed in the upper right-hand corner. The 5 ball is near the lower right-hand pocket. Naturally, the 6 is beneath that. The 7 is adjacent to the 6 near the lower left-hand corner pocket.
Well, Billy, I'll be very honest with you here. If the 2 ball does not go, he'd be better off trying to play a safety behind the 5 and 6 and just roll it. Well, he shot at it, Bill. He made a real good shot at it.
Well, you really can't fault anyone that plays offensively because you've been an offensive player all your life and you've done really well.
Well, these young kids right nowadays, they sort of put the dog in me a little bit.
Well, now you know how other players felt when they played you.
Absolutely. I still try to give them a little bit of that fear, but you know what? It just ain't like what it used to be.
Well, I can definitely relate to that.
We've both been there ourselves, like in those kind of positions.
You were one of the most feared 9-ball players in the world for quite some time. And every once in a while, you have a little flashback.
Once in a while, I do, Bill.
Now, he's going to have to be careful here because the 6 ball is frozen on the bottom cushion.
Very
and he's going to have
shot.
to go into it. Now, sometimes you get that weird double kiss, and strange things happen to the cue ball. You might even end up scratching here.
Well, he come a little high on it, Bill, but you know what? He's in one of them situations to where he does have to play this ball because if he doesn't one bank it, he can always double bank and play a safety in the middle of the table and go down the table and have a free shot at the 8. Well, he hit the 9 and still made the 6, Bill.
Watch out, the 9 may come in between the 8 ball and the cue ball, and it did exactly that. Really, an ill-fated Tang Ho looks in disbelief at the table saying, how did this possibly happen? Because I showed a lot of heart going for the bank. I hit it with the right speed, and all of a sudden, up jumped the devil. The 9 ball came in between the 8 ball and the cue ball.
That was just one of them bad breaks, you know. That was like the only ball on the table that could possibly, you know, snooker him, and it did. And right now, you know, he's sort of reaching for straws.
Well, what more can you reach for at this instance here? I mean, you have to try to do this. You have to try to hit the 8 ball and possibly pocket it. You got to hit it with the speed, though, to separate both balls.
Right, exactly.
And which he's done. And I'll tell you what, not a bad shot.
Not a bad shot at all. He's left him a little bit of grain here.
Yes, he did. But Pagulayan, being 19 years old with the eyes of an eagle, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he splits the pocket.
And makes them both.
Quite possibly.
But if you miss the ball, Billy, you must play the ball short. That way you do have a safety to the side rail. No matter what he does, he must hit this ball with ball speed. Well, he jammed it.
He would have struck it harder. He may have ratted in the 8 ball for cushions, but that didn't happen. I didn't think he took enough time on that particular shot. That's the type of a shot that demanded a lot more respect.
I agree, Billy.
Than what he gave it. So therefore, Tang goes back at the table, looking to take the lead in the match.
I agree with that shot there, Billy. If he would have taken a little bit more time on that, it might have been a little different story. He just shot the ball, I think, a little bit too fast and didn't really think about the shot hard enough. Well, that was a good shot by Tang. Even though the cue ball did get away from him, it went in.
Well, I like the way he played that shot. There was no chance of scratching on the shot. Hitting it with the speed that he hit it with,
right.
In my opinion, I thought he increased the accuracy of the shot.
Absolutely.
Hitting it with that speed.
And that's what these tables do to you. You must be able to adapt to those different English shots like that. And the way he hit that shot, he took all the English out of play and hit the shot with the one precise shot that he had, and that was it.
Game number 3 goes to Tang Ho. He now leads in the match by 1 game, 2 games to 1. And let's see if Alex gets an opportunity back at the table, if he can respond to the challenge.
Absolutely. This is where it takes it, right here. He must get up there and hopefully Tang Ho makes a mistake or, you know, gives him a good shot at the ball. And if he doesn't, you know, Tang Ho shakes loose. Look.
The fella in the blue shirt is John Conchatenka. He beat some quality players in this tournament: Pat Fleming, Jose Perica, and Tommy Kennedy, the former U.S. Open champion.
Wow.
Tang Ho breaking the balls in game number 4, pocketing a ball on the break, and has come up, I do believe, maybe with a shot. I don't know if the 7 is in the way, but it's pretty close. Let's take a look at the expression on his face.
I believe that he is snookered, Bill.
It seems like it's pretty close, and he wants to try to spin it in, maybe.
Well, it looks like he's shooting at it, so it looks like it must go.
Very nicely struck, but watch out.
Run away.
This is something that Pagulayan desperately needed, because now he has ball in hand with a 2-9 combination.
Exactly what I was talking about.
Short racks will kill you. Game number 4 goes to Alex. Ties up the match, 2 games apiece. That's something that you really want to see.
That was
when you trail in the match. You don't need to, make a fantastic run out or come with a good shot. You just put ball in hand, play a relatively simple combination, tie up the score.
That was a big shot. I mean, big game, big shot, and that could turn the whole thing right around right here. The thing that I'm looking for here, Bill, is if the kid can run 2 racks on Tang Ho, I think there's more pressure on Tang Ho than there is yet.
Yeah, when you're playing a young player that you know is dangerous and he's an offensive player, and you're the more experienced player, and you fall behind for whatever reason, there is a lot more pressure on the more experienced player.
Believe me, I've been there.
And Alex, he's just going to go for it.
Right, right.
He's just going to go for it.
He don't fear nothing. And Tang Ho, right now, he's drinking water and taking the heat a little bit.
Yeah, well.
But it happens. I mean, that's just the way the pool is. You get a little bit, your jitters, you get a little jitters.
I happen to know both of these players, and I like them both. They're both players are gutsy players. They have a lot of heart,
a lot of offense,
and they know how to win.
Right. I agree with that.
They're winning players. But tournament play is a lot different than match play. And that's the second time that Pagulayan has broken the balls and fouled on the break, and that's something that he cannot do if he expects to do well on the tour.
Especially if he makes his 1-9 combination. And in this certain situation, Billy, I'd have to go for that 1-9 combination because you got a free shot. You can go right behind the 4 if you miss it. And it just looks like a real good shot.
Absolutely. Just too many benefits for you by shooting the combination. You really can't pass it up.
Right. There it is, Bill.
Well, turnaround's fair play. Game number 5 goes to Tang Hoa, the same way as game number 3 with the Pagulayan, with ball in hand, off of a foul, shooting a very simple combination.
Absolutely.
So at the end of game 5, it's Tang Hoa now, once again, with the leads 3-2.
Exactly. And from all just 3, just mental errors, just knocking the cue ball off the table, scratching. I mean, and that's what you cannot do in these short races.
And younger players are guilty more often of fouling on the break naturally than the more experienced player.
Exactly.
Because the more experienced player realizes that the single most important shot in the game
is the break.
So therefore, a lot more emphasis is put on controlling the cue ball off of the break. And when you're an experienced player, you just seem to know how important it is to control the cue ball off the break.
That goes with seasoning. That goes with, playing, just being in a little bit more combat. But I guess maybe the older the kid gets, he won't be hopping that cue ball off the table if he gets beat a couple times like that.
Well, if he continues to do that, then he's going to have some...
It's going to be a long road.
He's had some bruises on him.
Yes, he is.
Now, there was a good break. Notice how the cue ball stopped in the center of the table.
Dead center.
Very little movement from the cue ball, an indication that he struck the break really nicely. And I do believe, once again, that he can pocket the 1 ball. This time, after pocketing the 1, he'll probably go into the 4, which will stop the cue ball somewhere.
I believe he's going to try to come underneath the 4 bill here and just try to play the ball long. 1, 2, and up table. If he tries to roll this ball, he's going to find it real funny like that because he's got to hit it with a real delicate touch. I think he's going to come all the way down 1, 2 rails and up table.
It's quite possible, but if you put a little bit too much English in it, you may end up hitting the 3.
Right.
So let's see how he opts to play this.
Wow, he went a different way, and look what happened. There it is. Well, he's got a shot, Bill. I mean, I guess it could be worse.
Definitely a good shot maker, and he's going to be really challenged to make this ball. This is a difficult shot. Not only is it a difficult shot, after pocketing the 2, if he does pocket the 2, the cue ball will then swing 2 cushions toward the 3, somewhat in that fashion, and then he might not even end up a shot on the 3.
It's a delicate speed shot is what it is. And he tried to hit it with that little delicate speed, and he overtook the ball.
This is very interesting. Tang Hoa leads in the match 3-2. Alex is back at the table, and he's asked to respond to the challenge here. Now the balls are laying really nicely over the table.
Absolutely.
3 ball in front of the lower corner pocket, the 4 ball near the upper right-hand corner, the 7 ball near the lower corner, 8 adjacent to the 7, 9 below the 8. This looks like an ideal out for you.
To tie the match. Oh my goodness, looky here. Well, I guess the jitters got him a little bit.
Tournament pressure is totally different than match pressure.
I'd much rather be playing for money than I would be playing in a tournament match because I can't. It's just hard for me to, because I always know, if you were playing for, say, playing somebody for an abundance of money or whatever, that you always have time to come back. But in a tournament, it's all, you have to do it now.
Exactly. You must respond to the challenge right away. Tang Hoa, I don't know if he tried to pocket that ball, but I thought it was ill-advised if he did try to pocket. It looked like he had a good safety off the
I agree, Billy. I agree.
And you can't really let Pagulayan back at the table with another offensive shot, which he certainly has. As a matter of fact, this one carries natural position.
Yes, it does, Bill. And right now, here, Tang Hoa has missed a couple balls here early in this game, and if he lets his kid shake loose, he's going to have a long day.
Yeah, when you have an opportunity to put a young, inexperienced player out, you really must take advantage of it, because two things they have going for you when you have the opportunities to do that. Number one is naturally you get the lead and you
Exactly.
and you go ahead and pursue it. And number two is that young players, they really want to be recognized, and when they make a couple mistakes, they don't feel that it's fair, because they know they play better than that. And they want to redeem themselves in some way.
Exactly.
And if you don't give them the chance to redeem themselves, then they start playing worse.
Exactly.
And they do have a shot.
Exactly. I agree with that 100%.
I remember when Johnny Archer was coming up, and he really didn't do well from the offset, when he was young.
Right.
But he managed to play a couple good matches, but all in all, he really didn't play the way he knew he could play, and it really aggravated and frustrated him.
Right.
And it took a while for him to win a tournament, but after he broke the ice and won that tournament,
Yes.
forget about it, you couldn't stop him.
It was, sort of like, well, Mike Seesaw, he won a lot of tournaments too, when he was playing, as far as that goes. But, as far as the tournaments go nowadays, it seems like to me it is like a flip coin. It is like a crapshoot, because, when you got two good players playing each other, and one's got enough heart to beat the other one, anyone can win that match. All it is one or two breaks early in the game, and boom, the game's over.
Game number 6 goes to Alex. He ties up the match. 3 games apiece. All right, now let's take a look at Alex once again in preparing to break the balls. The first 2 times he's broken the balls,
He knocked off the table the
and
second.
he fouled. He scratched in the side. Then in his first attempt, in the second attempt, cue ball off the table. He should make an adjustment. Seems like he's taking more time breaking the balls
He
there.
broke those balls a lot
Yeah,
better.
he respected the break a lot more at that time.
Right.
Didn't get rewarded by pocketing a ball, but at least he doesn't give Tang Hoa a ball in hand.
Didn't take the cue ball off the table. Now, Tang Hoa here, he's got a shot here. He's a little jacked up and everything. There's a little pressure on him right now.
Difficult shot.
There it is again.
Difficult shot. Tang Hoa seems a little frustrated out there.
It's just like what I said earlier, Bill. There's more pressure on him than there is on the other guy, because the other guy, he's unexperienced, and Tang Hoa is experienced, and this kid does shoot straight, and if this kid shakes loose, it's going to be shower time. And he's given him enough opportunities to maybe shake loose a little bit, you see?
The balls are pretty congested on the foot end of the table. The 9 and the 4 are very closely set together, and the 5 balls to the right of the 4, blocking the pocket for the 4 to go in that pocket. 3 ball near the right-hand cushion, long rail.
He's still going to play the ball outside and try to make the 2 ball, no matter what he does. Okay, well, he made a pretty good little shot right there, because now you can take the 3 in the corner, and you don't even play the make shape on the 4. You play the cue ball to the side rail, to the in between the side pocket and this corner pocket down there. Then you play safe right behind the 9 with the 4.
Yeah, I totally agree with your assessment of how to play this particular rack. And I don't believe the 4 ball goes
I
from that
don't
position.
think so either, Bill. But you know what? See?
You have to realize, you have to be aware of your options.
But you know what? He could make it.
He could make it, so we really can't argue with him.
With that shot.
Absolutely not. He could make it, so therefore you have to go for the out.
I guess the older you get, the more you think about it, Bill.
Well, from our vantage point, it didn't look like the 4 ball had enough room to
Right,
go.
exactly.
But evidently we were wrong, and
That's those young eyes. Oh. Yeah,
Well, that's a pretty good position there. Nice angle. Should play close to the 8 once again.
Yep. It looks like he's starting to shake loose.
Nice angle. He's starting to relax. Speed of the cue ball, a strong indication that he's starting to relax. He's starting to play better position.
Exactly, Bill. And then that's what I was talking about earlier. Seeing Tang Hoa has had chances to win here. Tang Ho's probably missed 3 or 4 balls where the kid's only missed 1.
Had a little awkward angle on the 8. Decided that he better just cinch the 8 and take this little tester here on the 9. Wouldn't have settled for it unless he knew he was going to make it, which he's done. Game
Yes,
number
it is.
6
That's
goes to Pagulayan.
game number 7, Bill.
Excuse me, game number 7 goes to Pagulayan, who now takes the lead of the match 4 games to 3.
Well, Bill, it's just like what we said before. Now here's where the heat really comes into play. Tang Ho's been sitting here on the bench. Okay, he's staring around. Right now, here the kid here, he's just having a great time.
And 9-ball isn't really much fun. 9-ball really isn't much fun when your opponent's having all the fun, is it?
It's not fun sitting down, Bill.
Once again, Alex breaks the balls coming up dry, but he didn't foul on the break, and I think that's really important, particularly for Alex right now, because he did foul 2 times on the break, and it cost him.
Exactly, and he's ahead in the match.
Tang Hoa pushes out. I don't believe I'd accept this shot.
I don't believe
I just
would
pass
either.
it back to him right here.
You gotta hit it too good to stick behind the 6.
Pagulayan didn't even get out of the chair to look at it.
He didn't tell me that shot.
Well, Bill, I don't really know the technique behind that shot, but I guess it worked. I don't really know exactly what he was trying to do. Do you think he knew what he was trying to do then?
Well, he had an idea. He was in a bad spot when he pushed out, so therefore he opted to push there, hoping that he would play some sort of a safety off the 1.
Right.
And he's really not really happy with the way he's performing right now.
No.
The 3 ball doesn't go into the lower left-hand corner pocket, so therefore he has that going for him. Even though he didn't position the cue ball where he wanted it, it doesn't look like he's going to suffer much of a consequence in regard to Alex running out from here.
He's got to try to shoot this ball in the right-hand corner pocket. If he misses it, he must play this ball short. That way, he does have a chance to maybe get the cue ball behind the 6, but it's a totally ball speed shot.
Yeah, I think he has a little bit too much of an angle to do that. Maybe not, though. Let's take a look. And maybe he'll try to shoot that shot.
You play the ball short, though. Oh, he looked to try to play safe. And, well, he didn't get there, Bill.
Well, he didn't sell out. That's important, you know.
Right.
He didn't sell out. He didn't like the angle that he had on the 2. Maybe it suggested that if he tried to play the 2 in the upper right-hand corner, he would have scratched to the side.
Right.
He didn't like that, so therefore he opted to play some sort of a safety, even though he didn't hook Tang Hoa.
I think he tried to take the 2 ball like halfway between the pocket, the corner pocket and the side pocket, and take the cue ball behind the 6. That's what
he tried to do that, but sometimes it's a lot easier to play up here than it is when you're at the table.
Right. He made a good shot there, but he got a little bit tough.
Yeah, he made a good shot. Didn't really get rewarded for it, but still, he's at the table. He has control of the table, and I think he can do a lot of good things from this position.
Yeah, he's got a few opportunities here. He can play a couple safeties. He can go behind the first ball. He's got a couple blockers, but it's a delicate stroke.
You know, I think he can, if you have the finesse of a Reyes or even a McBarner or even yourself, you can draw the cue ball behind the 7 here.
I agree.
You know, I mean, it's a risky shot, but if you have the ability and the skills to shoot that shot with confidence, you can do it.
I think, Billy, I'd try to go behind the 4 and just take it all the way up table and just hit it with a nice, good little smooth, firm stroke right there. See the way you just
Well,
pointed
there's nothing wrong with that, because then what you do there, if you happen to hit it badly, then you always have that ally
3 ball
of
down
distance going for you.
Right.
Leaving distance.
Wow, look, he elected to leave him a shot at this ball.
I don't believe it passes the 7.
No, but he can see it all the way. I believe I would have elected a little different shot than that, just to, because of those blockers.
Well, he's not really in a good spot. I mean, here's a couple things he could do. He could possibly shoot the 3 into the 7 and then go cross table with the cue ball, hoping that the 4 and 8 will aid him as interfering balls.
I think he's going to try to hit the 3 just like it lays and try to roll right up on the 7.
Oh, that's another shot he has, but that's a little more risky, I think. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, that's what he tried to do, Bill, but he just didn't hit it right.
Now, he can cut the 3 in, he can play it off the 8. He has a couple different options here.
Yeah, but he still really doesn't know exactly what he's going to do. Oh, he's going to play it off the 8. Well, now everything looks easy from here, Bill. Hear me?
He would like to come across table where his hand is now, giving him a nice shot on the 5 with an ideal angle. No. He would like to
He's
go.
all right.
He would like to go 2 cushions here. 2 cushions to the center of the table would be a good shot.
There you go.
Hit it with excellent speed. Looks like that's about as perfect as he could get. Once again, 1 cushion. You don't go to the second cushion here. You just hit it nice pocket speed. Come down table.
Float it.
That's right. Increasing the accuracy of the shot, and also it makes the pocket play larger too with that
Exactly. Exactly. Hitting it with those good little ball speeds. Now the table is getting easy.
This is game number 8. It looks like it's going to be 4 games apiece, barring any unforeseen things happening.
Miscues.
Yeah, well, you know.
Okay, Bill. Well, we got a tie ball game, everybody.
Well, this is exactly the way we figured this match would come down. We figured it'd be a pretty close match, and it has been a close match throughout the match. I mean, they've been jockeying for the lead. One game with Tang Hoa would have the lead, would be tied up, and then Alex would get the lead. So therefore, in that regard, this match has been very close. And it's a sharply contested match by both players. No one at any time, I believe, has gone 2 games ahead.
No, not since they've started. Well, Bill, I'll tell you what, as far as the 2 players go, as far as like ACCUSTATS go and everything, like how people shoot 871s, 921s, I don't believe that any one of these players have been under the ACCUSTAT format. Do you know that?
Well, there's a lot to be said about that. You take a relatively inexperienced player, and you put him in a tournament playing, a more experienced player, he's going to be nervous.
Absolutely.
But then you take that same player, playing against a more experienced player, and you put him in front of the ACCUSTATS camera, that just makes him more nervous.
Right.
I don't believe either one of these players have played, in front of the camera. The ACCUSTATS camera.
Not that I know of. It's been a long time though since I've played on the ACCUSTATS myself. I'd hate to even look at it, but I know there's a lot of pressure, and especially playing in the ACCUSTATS camera and then commentary.
But it builds character, son. Builds character.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is certainly something that both of these players want. They want to play well under the camera because it builds character. And the next time they're here, they can be more relaxed, and they can play with more confidence.
I agree with that all the way. It just seems like they're both still a little bit tight, though, Bill.
Oh, absolutely. This is a pretty tough situation he has to deal with here. He would like to go for the ball, and then again, it seems like a little bit of a haphazard shot. Very difficult shot. But what kind of a safety does he have? He can bank the 1 behind the 6, maybe? I think that's the right shot, using the 4 and the 8 as blockers.
I like that shot. He just hit it a little hard.
You know, I think he cut it too much.
Right.
Had he hit that ball more thickly, then the 1 ball may have went behind the 6 and 2 balls then behind the 4-8.
Exactly.
I think that's what he really tried to do. But sometimes you really have to put a lot of effort and concentration even into
on this equipment, Billy. I mean, the tables are sort of slick right now, and people are having a hard time rolling balls and playing, you know, precise ball speed.
Yeah, I like what Tang Hoa tried to do there with the cue ball. You know, after executing that shot, if he, in the event that he hit it well, he would have ended up behind the 2, and he wouldn't have left Alex any kind of a shot.
I think Alex is going to try the same shot he just tried before, and he might try to get this ball a little bit fuller, try to come inside with it, try to take it underneath the 8. But it's a very delicate shot again, one more time.
This shot lays more difficult than the last one.
Yes, I agree.
So therefore, you know, he has more work in front of him than he did the last time. But at least he's back at the table with the ability to hit the ball.
Exactly. I think he can use the 4 and 8 as 2 blockers.
Okay, now he's tried that shot once again.
And he hit this one right.
This one, it looks like, worked out well for him. I do not believe, well, certainly by the expression of Tang Hoa on his face, it tells the story that he does not have a shot. He cannot hit the ball. He's going to have to elevate, masse, or kick, or do something that's very unnatural. Barely hitting the side of the 1.
Exactly.
But nevertheless, he did strike the 1.
But the whole thing behind that, see, he let the kid get to the shot, same shot, 2 times in a row, and he didn't really have no power before that, and that's why the kid got the real good shot again. And anytime you got 2 good players, and you give the same shot twice, they're in trouble.
Well, you go to school off the first shot, it makes the second one a lot easier.
Exactly.
Game number 9, match tied up at 4 games apiece. Pagulayan at the table. Falling a little bit out of line on the 3. Now he's going to have to do a little extra work here. Looks like he's got the type of an angle that you really can't roll it. You have to go across table, and it's the type of an angle that is not natural.
He's just going to roll it in.
Now he's going to have to stretch here a little bit. He doesn't like his position. He may even have to get the bridge, but I think he can stretch out.
He better have to do like I used to do when I was a kid, just stand on the box and make it.
Here we go. He's opting to go behind his back.
Yeah, I knew he had to do something different. Well, look at that. See, he can play behind his back, too.
Just like Francisco Bustamante.
Yeah, and what about the Filipino gene? He plays pretty good behind his back.
Isn't it something how the Filipino players have that skill? They do play behind their back well.
Absolutely.
He was straight in on the 6.
And he got lucky.
He thought he could force it over somewhat and maybe even hit the 9 or the 7.
I think he can kick this 7-9 in, Bill. We'll soon find out the way he's looking at it. Boy, it sort of looks good from here, but I guess it doesn't.
He's going to play 1 real behind the 9. And he repositioned the 7 in a pretty good spot on the table for him, that is.
Right.
So therefore, I don't believe Tang Hoa has much to work with.
I agree. I think he's in a spot where he has to go.
No, he's going to have to play safe. I would believe up table with the 7 here. That's what he's got to do.
You're right, Bill. You're right.
He's done a fine job parking the cue ball on top of the 9.
Unbelievable.
Creating more of a problem for Pagulayan.
Especially if the 9 moves but he hits the cue ball. Those are a lot of rules that sometimes come up in the matches where a lot of people don't pay attention to those rules, but they do come up, and a lot of times they get away with them.
Looks like from the angle that he's shooting, he's going to go behind the 7.
He hit it good, but he left him a pretty good shot.
Well, Tang Hoa earned this particular shot
did.
because
Yes,
of his
he did.
ability to play a good, solid, common sense safety off of the 7.
I agree with that.
Draw the cue ball 2 cushions toward the 8, playing the 8 on the side.
There you go.
Staying on that good line.
He stuffed it, but you know what? He might be on the wrong side of this ball, Bill.
He's going to have to force it a little bit. Didn't draw into that corner deeply enough.
He just played the ball outside and just can go ahead and just take the shot and gypsy down and home. Now these balls you have to float in because the tables will skid on you, and all you gotta do is just keep the ball high. There you go.
Game number 9 goes to Tang Hoa. Now he takes the lead in the match once again. Now with the score being 5 games for Tang Hoa
and 4 to
Pagulayan. Yeah, this has been a seesaw match, so therefore
Yes,
it's been
we
an
expected
exciting
that, though,
match
Bill.
in regard to the score. It's been very exciting in that respect.
We expected a pretty close match here, though.
Absolutely. And these two players, I think, have played one another several times. Matter of fact, I even think they played one another in match play.
Yeah, yes, they did. Yes, they
And that was close also, wasn't it?
Absolutely, it was. I mean,
Matter of fact, if my memory serves me correct, I think they played 10 ahead. And Alex got 9 games ahead of him. Now, I may be wrong, but I think someone told me this, that Alex got 9 games ahead of him and ended up losing the match.
wow. But you know what? You know how many you played pool a lot of times yourself. You know how many times you've been on, or the other guy's been on the hill, and you've come back and won the money.
That's a good break. Notice a cue ball, once again, parked in the center of the table. He's been breaking the balls very well.
Real hard.
Yeah, in that regard, but he hasn't been able to put a ball down on the break.
Exactly. And here, the last 3 times he broke the balls, he broke them just dead perfect, just like that cue ball in the middle of the table. And that's when, you know, when you start getting that cue ball in the middle of the table and you start making a ball 2 on the break, that's when you might be able to hit a guy with a couple packages.
It looks like if he can cut the 1 in, he'll float right between the 2 and the cushion or side rail. He's got a chance to come up with a shot on the 2. Well, he's opted to play the 1-2-9 combination.
He got perfect. That's exactly the way I would have played it because he had the 3 and the 4 as a blocker. But you still have to hit this ball good with a nice little touch.
That's a pretty good observation there, Keith, and noticing that the 3 and 4 are blockers in the event you missed a 1.
Right, that's what I was
But
talking
he didn't miss that 2-9 combination.
But he got so good on the 2-9 combination. If he would have got it just like a little bit off angle, now he would have probably had to elect to play a different shot. But as it turned out, he played the ball behind the 3 and 4 as blockers and got perfect on the deuce time.
Yeah, it's very important to notice things like that, because if you are able to notice what your options are and you know,
Exactly.
and what's available to you, it makes the game play a lot more simple, and then you actually win more games and matches because of that.
Exactly. Well, Bill, here we got it 5-5 right now, and you know what? We're in a dogfight right now.
You certainly are. Both of these players very stubborn, refusing to give in to the other player.
Right. They're both playing real tough. The little man, he finally made a ball on the break, Bill.
And do you play the billiard here?
Well, Billy, I'm going to be very honest with you. I'd have to take the 1 into the 3 and cut it because you really have a real big pocket there.
I don't think you have the biggest pocket, because if you don't cut that 1 into the 3 or cut it off the bottom cushion, you're not going to make the 3. The 3 is sitting out somewhere. So he played the billiard.
He played the billiard just like you said.
Yeah, realizing that it wasn't as big as of a pocket as you thought it was. It's because the 3 was outside the pocket.
But I thought maybe, you know, if he hits the ball full a little bit, the 3 cue ball could have followed in with the 3.
But if you're going to opt to play the 1-3 combination, you're going to come up with natural position, and you're going to get out.
Right.
But if you happen to miss it, you're playing position for your opponent. So you have to be, you know.
It was a pick'em shot.
I don't know if I would go for this,
Now this is a little bit funky.
because even if he pockets the 1-6, there's no guarantee he's going to come up with a shot on the 1. He may try to go into the 9 here.
He did, and there it goes, Bill.
Well, yeah, he played that
Great
shot. You know, he played the 1-6 combination with the chance of making the billiard on the 9.
Played them both.
He didn't make the ball that he really put more concentration into, but he made the ball that he got paid off for. That's the 9 ball. After game number 11, Alex has the lead, 6 games to 5. So the lead is jockeying their back and forth.
Here's a very big game for both.
It's getting fairly late in the match now, a little bit past the halfway point. It's a race to 9. Alex needs only 3 more games to win the match.
And
Tang Hoa needs 4. You know, so games become more important now.
Very important, Billy, right now. Right now it's very important.
games are more important, which
It's like no mistakes on the break, pop the balls, and make sure you keep the cue ball on the table.
which means more pressure.
There he goes.
There he goes. There he goes.
I called it.
There he goes. You're exactly right. You called it, and what happened? Off the table.
And oop, there goes another one.
You know, when you foul on the break in a race of 9 3 times, you're not supposed to win the match.
No, you're not even supposed to be in it. If you even scratch 3 times, you're not supposed to be in it. When you have 2 good players as well as these boys play.
Tango at the table. Much more relaxed now. Does trail by 1 game in the match, 6 games to 5, but he's at the table, has control of the table. The balls are spread quite nicely over the table. He should run out, barring any unforeseen things happen.
Absolutely, Billy. Right now, if he doesn't get out from here, I believe he can. He'll have an early shot. Must get out from here.
That's good. Now he would like to come back down table after cutting the 6 and hit the bottom cushion. Come back down table and end up somewhere in the center of the table.
Exactly.
Which would give him a natural angle off the 7 to drop nicely for the 8.
Exactly. Little floater.
That's very nice speed, and he's probably ended up in the optimal position.
You got to be very delicate though with this shot here, to where you don't spit this ball out of the hole. You just put a nice firm stroke on it.
You don't want to go to the second rail. Just go to the center of the table, like so.
That's all.
Gives you more options, and it gives you the ability to stroke the ball better.
Absolutely, Bill.
He should swing 2 cushions or 1. It's a matter of preference. 2 cushions. If you swing 2 cushions, you increase the accuracy of the shot.
He hit it with a real nice smooth stroke, and I believe that the score's going to be tied up, Bill. One more time.
One more time, tied up. But both of these players are giving us exactly what we expected, and it's starting to get pretty exciting.
Now it's starting to get good. Now it's starting to get good. Now here's where the experience might come into play a little bit, Bill. Because the younger boy, he made a mistake. He knocked the cue ball off the table again. If Tang Hoa doesn't runs out here, then the pressure's really going to be on him.
And what pressure does to you in close matches late in the match, pressure makes you make decisions that sometimes aren't right. So therefore, the experienced or more experienced player usually makes the better decision.
Exactly.
And let's see what happens.
Exactly. I agree with you 150%, Bill. It's 6-6 right now. Here's where you either get the kernel out of the hot sun or you take an early shower.
All right. Well, let's start off with the break. More emphasis put on controlling the cue ball off the break. Like so.
He popped him again.
This time he did make 2 balls on the break.
Boy, but he's left himself long on that 2 ball again. Well, you know what, Bill? Right here, he's going to go ahead and lock him up right here. I think he's going to take the 2 ball and hit in between the 9 ball in the corner pocket and take the cue ball right behind the 6 and 8.
Okay, now listen carefully. He does have a shot on the 2. He'll hit it with a stroke, open up the 8 and the 6. Should get a shot in the 3, but he can definitely lock him up. Big area to lock him up.
Big decision. He went for it.
Oh,
wow.
He went for it, but I can't fault him for that because he liked the shot. He could hit it with a cinch speed, and he knows he's not going to get hooked. He's going to hit it with the speed to break loose the 6 from the 8 and open up everything.
I guess about 15 years ago, I might have done the same shot.
I think so. Because you were a type of a player that liked to keep your opponent in the chair.
Right. But, I guess once you get a little bit older, those little things, you sort of like try to play safe, just like the way the older people do.
Okay, now that particular shot was executed as perfectly as you could execute a shot. He's got an ideal angle on the 6 to drop nicely for the 7. But the problem is that once he drops for the 7, he's going to be straight in. Now, he's going to have to play position for the 8. But he really didn't have much to offer to him, so therefore he has to take what was offered to him. He did that, and it's up to him.
Does the 7 ball go, Billy?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, it does. But he still had to leave himself alone.
Well, he knew that going in. But he's a strong player, and being a strong player, you're supposed to get out from here, and this is where you get paid off.
This is, where people get $3 million in basketball, pool players get $3,000. Oh, he made a good shot.
He hit it nicely.
Yes, he did.
This is game number 13 with the pocketing of the 9. Tang Hoa will now find himself with 7 games to Pagulayan's 6.
Very well stated, Bill.
Oh, he made a real nice shot.
Real good shot on that, too.
Falling nicely for the 6.
Right.
Because that was the key, because there really wasn't much room for error there, falling from the 5 to the 6. He hit it perfectly, and all the time realizing that if he did fall perfectly, he still had work in front of him.
Right. And if he would have hooked any kind of angle on that 6 ball, that 7 ball would have been a lot tougher shot to get on.
Okay, and it all stemmed from his ability to break the balls well, controlling the cue ball and hitting it also with velocity.
I'll bet you right now he hits these balls solid as a rock.
Well, he knows that he can feel it. You know, he's pretty pumped right now. He's got the game lead. It's getting late in the match. He's got his groove on the break right now. Once again, you know, stopping the cue ball well.
There goes the 1.
And the 1 ball's parked in front of the corner pocket, and he's gotten paid off for his break once again.
Exactly. Got the momentum, just like you said it, Bill. Got the momentum going now.
So if Pagulayan goes on to lose this match, he will learn a very valuable lesson. That lesson is you better take care of Whitey on the break. And if you don't do that, you don't figure to end up in the winner's circle.
That goes with battle scars, Bill. Oh, he stroked the ball good.
He really hit that ball nicely, because when you draw the ball the length of the table back that far, you really have to hit it nicely to get
with that kind of with that
precision.
precise stroke.
Yeah, absolutely. He had beautiful control.
He stayed down on a real
beautiful control. Looks like if he applies a little inside English, he'll be all right.
But Pagulayan, he gave him that momentum. Oh, looky here. Oh my gosh.
Well, he missed the 2 ball because he really divided his concentration between playing position and pocketing the 2, where most of the emphasis should have been put on pocketing the 2.
Absolutely, and just go ahead and follow the ball, make the ball, and just come to the side rail for the 3. He tried to come in 2 rails inside the corner pocket, which
the mindset he should have had was, okay, how am I going to play this shot?
Right.
All right, if I'm going to play the shot and spinning it 2 cushions out, I'll hit it with that stroke, but most importantly, I'll make sure I pocket the ball.
Exactly. He was in between shots, and it was like, you know, like shooting a sand trap shot. Either you open up the club face or you don't.
Pagulayan at the table trailing in the match 7 games to 6. He's got an opportunity at the table he didn't figure to get. He's happy about it. He's saying, I'm going to bring it home from here.
Absolutely.
And I will not foul on the break the next time.
You're right about that, Bill. I mean, I would have to bet that he would not scratch on the next break if he does win this game.
He would like to get down table far enough so the 9 doesn't come into play shooting the 7.
Exactly.
So therefore, if he can, he would like to fall slightly underneath the 7.
He might go ahead and try to pinch this ball.
Or he might draw it back to the other rail, playing
that's what I'm
the other
talking there. That's what I'm talking about.
Now that takes the 9 out of play for sure.
Exactly.
Now he would like to end up in the center of the table here.
Just a little
short of the center.
Just a little floater.
He doesn't want to get straight. He wants to stay on the angle.
Just
That's a nice angle. Nice angle. He's positioned the ball perfectly for the 8.
He must make sure he don't take this ball out of the hole.
Concentrate on stroking it good, but most importantly, pocket the 8.
There it is.
And he's done both.
And there it is, Bill. We're going to have a 7-7 ball game just as we expected.
Neither player, giving in to the other. This is a really a well-played match, and a very, very sharply contested match by both players.
Just a couple mistakes on the break and this and that, and as far as everything else goes, they played real well. But mistakes, checking a few balls at the table, scratching, it comes into play. And
well, will the 19-year-old relatively inexperienced player from Toronto, Canada, has he gone to school on the break? Did he learn anything?
Well, we're going to find out now, Bill. It's going to be at 7-7, and right now it's very important for him to not try to overpower the balls and put a real nice stroke into this ball. Even if he doesn't make a ball on the break, keep the cue ball on the table and keep it flat.
So therefore, you're saying that make sure you hit the 1 ball squarely. Even though you may lose a little velocity in the break, it's a fair trade-off.
Right. Just don't lose it.
And that's what he did. He noticed how nicely he struck the one ball.
Oh, geez,
But notice how nicely he struck the one ball. The action on the cue ball, strong indication how squarely he hit the one.
Exactly.
And he made the corner ball on the break. So perhaps, just perhaps, that was the speed he needed to be breaking the balls with the entire match.
Exactly. And he finally released it one time to where he tried to kill him, bust their head off, and he popped him. And he got a real good break that time, but he just sort of got a real bad roll.
Tang Ho's standing up.
It's because there might be a close shot here. Okay. Well, he made a good shot. He hit the cue ball to the rail, and he did snooker him real well here.
Looks like he's going to use a little bit of different technique in his attempt to hit the one ball. It looks like he's going to have to elevate, hit the side cushion and draw it back and masse it back off that cushion.
I think he might have to try to hop the ball over the deuce. I don't know. I can't really see it. See what he's looking at?
And he's going to elevate and draw it and masse it back.
I see what you're saying. Ooh. I didn't like that shot, Bill.
No, he really didn't have much of a shot.
I know, but
if the one passes the 7, it's needless to say what he's going to do.
Right.
But if the one doesn't pass the 7, I think he's going to have to play the combination.
He was
1-2.
sort of in a real bad spot.
A very tough spot.
Yeah.
Looks like he's going to have to play the combination 1-2.
I agree with you, Bill. I agree. But you know what? I might want to try to leave the 7 there. I think the one ball goes in the corner pocket.
Oh, absolutely. If the one ball goes, there's no decision. You have to play the one ball.
Right, and leave the 7 there to get to the 8 to the 9.
No, there shouldn't have been even a decision.
Right.
Definitely should have played that.
I agree. Okay, well, here we go, though. You know, here's where the ball game starts.
Well, this is the shot right here that'll tell the story. The 2 to the 3, because if you get good on the 3, then you'll fall nicely for the 4.
Right. There. If he doesn't.
Well, I think he's done well with this shot.
Yeah. But now what do you do? See,
you got to stop the ball.
He's looking like he's straight.
You got to stop the ball, because look, if he stops the ball where the 3 is, he really doesn't have a bad shot.
He made a good shot. There it is.
You know, he is a stretch a little bit, but he's has to be concerned about this shot, making sure he pockets the ball. You know, he hit a little roughly, but nevertheless, it fell in.
Boy, it almost skidded on him, Bill. Now
Okay, he can afford to draw this ball back because of the position of the ball.
Cute here. There you go. He put a good little stroke on it. He put a good little stroke on it, Bill. But on this equipment right now, like with these kind of shots like here, and you gotta like slow drag them. Sometimes they have a tendency to do funny things. But as it turned out, he's dead perfect.
This is game number 15. The winner of this particular game, and it looks like Alex is going to win this game, will be the first player to reach the hill position.
Exactly. He could have got a little bit better there, Bill. Okay, there it is, Bill. Here we go.
Game number 15 goes to Pagulayan. He takes the lead in the match. Race to 9, 8 games to 7. But if the match continues to go the way it's been going, I look for Tang Hoa to tie it up 8 games apiece.
I agree.
But since Alex has found that spot of the table to break the balls from, and secondly, since he's found out that it's important to control the cue ball off the break, maybe giving up a little bit of velocity in return to control the cue ball.
I agree. I expect him to pop these balls like King Kong right here.
Tang Hoa may not have another opportunity back at the table.
I agree, because you know what? He finally found a spot now to break the balls. Now, if he doesn't get over anxious, don't let his nerves get to his head. Just put a nice smooth stroke on his break, just like he did last time. It looks like it would be a shower for Tang Hoa.
Ooh, he broke him poorly.
He almost did it again, Bill.
He broke him poorly.
He sure did.
He did pocket a ball on the break, and he did get a fortuitous kiss, ending up with a shot off of the break.
Unbelievable. And the cue ball got away from him, just like what we were talking about.
You know, well, that happens at times, which really frustrates your opponent.
Especially right now.
Yeah.
Under these stress circumstances. Okay.
That was a big shot.
The whole game right here now, baby, is the 3 to the 4, Bill. If he can get to the 3 to the 4, I believe the game's over.
No, he has two ways to play this shot. He can opt to play around the 7, going towards
That's
the
the way
9.
I would go.
Or he can opt to go cross table with the cue ball if he has the angle, ending up somewhere in the position that he is now, preferably just a little further down table, giving him a nice one-angle route toward the 4.
Right. I agree with that. That's when, you know, you got to put a good little stroke on it, though. Well, he went our way the first way.
Okay, now he'll go 2 cushions around the 7.
Right.
And
play
now
the
he's
ball
going toward
right
the
past
9.
the side.
This angle takes you toward the 9. And now that 9 may be a big ball. You could get behind it. Oh, he opted to go 1 cushion.
Wow, he went a different route.
See, now that particular route demanded better cue ball speed in terms of speed. The accuracy had to be there in terms of speed.
Right, but now what?
Nice stroke.
He made a great
Nice
shot.
stroke.
He made a great shot. He made a great shot. He made the shot to maybe win the money bill.
Now, if he has to be careful with the side pocket here. Looks like he has the angle that, nope, he had a better angle than that.
He took it right out of play. And he's getting, Bill, it looks like it's shower time.
Looks like he's got the angle to go forward 2 cushions.
Yep.
You have to stay off the rail, though, when you have to hitting the 2nd cushion, which he made sure that he did.
Gotta hurry. Oh, he's got there. Okay, but now, once again, Bill, it's one of those roly-poly shots. And, Bill, it's shower time.
Yeah, it looks like Pagulayan's going to win this match 9 games to 7. But it was a sharply contested match, an exciting match. And I thought that both players played well.
Absolutely.
And they stood up under the pressure well. I kind of like what they did.
I agree with you 100% there. There was just a couple mental mistakes. It looked like Tang Hoa was starting to play the balls good. And right there at the end, Tang Hoa gave him a couple breaks there to get into the table. And the kid found his break, and he got lucky with the last
Maybe
break.
someone can ask Alex if he'll stop up so we can talk with him a little bit. Maybe you could ask him that. No, I think yeah, he's going to come up. Anyways, I'd like to ask him a couple questions.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he's 19 years old
Right.
and he's relatively
And
inexperienced.
I remember when I was 19, and it was really hard for me to play in tournaments. Alex,
Well, first of all, you got to hold the mic. You got to, when you talk, Alex, you got to put it close to your face so we can hear you.
I'm still there.
No, so you got to put it up.
Now.
Okay, well, you're nervous?
I told you he was a little nervous, Bill. Anyways, let me ask you a question. You know, you being 19 years old and everything, and, you know, I know you probably haven't played in many pool tournaments, but how did you feel under the pressure there when you had to get, you know, those certain racks there at the end where you had to make a good break, because you did make a couple mistakes on the break? Just to try to keep the cue ball flat.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep the cue ball flat, and I'm kind of tired too. I went to bed 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Right. So
Well, you did a good job.
shaky.
Yeah. You did a good job. See, you guys were both sort of like a little bit hesitant at the start and everything. You guys were both having a hard time breaking the balls. You flew the cue ball off
I
the
still
table a
can't
couple times.
Forget, he's my worst nightmare.
Well,
Oh, that's right. Matter of fact, I alluded to that a little earlier, that you and Tango played a challenge match. I think it was in California. It was a 10-ahead match.
8 ahead.
8 ahead, and you were on the hill,
Yeah.
and then he came back and beat you.
Yeah.
So that was in your psyche up here. You
Yeah.
remembered that, huh?
And I played him again, challenge match. Same thing happened.
Tango's a tough player, but you
Oh,
know what? You're
he's
you're an
good.
up-and-coming player. See, and you know the way I see it, I think there's a little bit more pressure on him than there is on you, because you know what? You don't have no fear yet. You know, you still got a couple more battle scars to come through, and
Even now, I'm still shaking.
I know, yeah, I can see you're still shaking, but you know what? Thank God it's over with.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you another question in regard to the playing on the feature table in front of the cameras. Did that bother you at all a little bit?
No, not really.
Not really? Well, you played well, you know, and I figured you'd play pretty well because you're really an aggressive player. You like to play, and you wanted to make a good showing because you're making that bid for recognition right now, and I think that you're going to get recognized very, very shortly of how good of a player you really are.
I hope so.
Yeah, if they see what you put on me, don't worry, you'll be okay.
So anyways, congratulations in your win against Tango, a very formidable player, and good luck to you in
And
your
good luck
future
to you.
matches.
And,
Thanks.
Wish you the best of luck.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for stopping up, by the way. Well, anyways, I thought it was a very entertaining match, and actually it was entertaining in the regard that it was a very closely contested match by both players. And the younger player, the more inexperienced player, showed us that, hey, listen, I can win just on guts. You know, I can get out there and do my thing. And win.
And like I said earlier, though, in the game, you know, when the pressure would be on Tang Hoa, and it did show a little bit because Tang Hoa missed a couple balls there early in the game there. He missed a lot more balls than the younger boy did. And it did show, and it did make a difference in the game because he did make a couple of mistakes, and he let the kid get to the table too much there on the end. And then,
well, you're right once again. You know, you're a seasoned player, and your assessment of what may happen happened exactly the way you called it. And I like to add this before we close it out. It's been a pleasure working with you because it's always a pleasure working with a seasoned player, and one that can call the shots. You know, which you certainly did.
well, I try to see it like I would play it in spots, but there was a couple shots that I might have shot different, but they both played real well, and you know, they're both great players, and you know, just one got the first break there at the end, and that was the match. You know?
That's right. So anyways, thanks a lot for stopping us and joining us here at ACCUSTATS, and possibly we'll do it again later in the
Okay, well, it's been a pleasure working with you, Bill.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure working with you.
Okay.
So on behalf of Keith McCready, this is Bill Incardona saying thanks a lot for joining ACCUSTATS and supporting ACCUSTATS. Give Pat a call, 1-800-828-0397.